everyone, welcome to the brand new free-to-play tier list for 2025. A lot of things have changed since then. I want to start with a disclaimer. This is for the high tier legend, which means this mainly is going to be for free-to-plays that are above 3,500 rating, because if you're in bronze, silver, gold, or legend, almost any class or any build that you play, as long as it's a PvP build, of course, it will work. But if you follow these guidelines, it will still be true that, see if something is really strong at the high tier legend, it's gonna mean that even if you're like in the long ranks, it's gonna be powerful, but it doesn't mean like other classes, it will not be. So the major change that we had compared to the last year's tier list is that Barbarian got heavily nerfed. So if we go here, and you guys know that this used to be the best free-to-play class in the game, but right now, it's sad to say, but I will put this probably at the B tier. And I'll explain why Barbarian went to B tier. Barbarian, it is still okay, but when we're talking about like this high tier legend gear, the people that you'll be facing most of the times is like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,000 resonance. So it's a lot of it. Okay, so you had one job, and it was to go to the idol. You used to proc almost instantly the Undying Rage, and you could hold the idol before. But now you can't. So whenever you can't hold the idol, and if you go to the idol and you get instantly procced, you have only one option. It's just like, or you keep running further, but you're not gonna do a lot of damage because you're free to play, or you have to go run back to try to heal, get your Undying Rage, and then go back to it. So from my experience, I played Barbarian for a while after the nerf, and I found that I was almost useless, because not only you're not holding the idol or pushing the idol, also I feel like something that people are not talking about is like, it's the sense of like, it feels like whenever you look at the minimap, you see a Barbarian in the idol, and maybe like you are still thinking, oh no, there's someone defending, there's someone holding the idol still there, but that's not true. If the Barbarian is on top of the idol, but it is one Undying Rage, they will just keep pushing it through. So I feel like the value that Barbarian used to bring inside the battlegrounds, it is very low in a high tier legend. Pretty much the only thing you can be useful for, it is for the Spartus dispel bot, but still, like with the new meta that there is, most of the times it is just like a lot of monks, a lot of barbarians, high tier legends, and a lot of people used to complain about Barbarian, but it was mainly because the big massive Barbarian whales, they are still destroying, they still have the auto damage, and they are still doing a lot to it. But when it comes to free to play, you know that if you were around this ranking, your auto damage is already very low. You have to change most of the times to Spartus to be useful, and with this, well, now Barbarian is just like, it's just an okay class to play. The good thing is like you still have Undying Rage, so you don't get one-shotted. But let's go here into Wizard. Wizard used to be the best free-to-play class together with the Barbarian, and well, now it is pretty much one of the only free-to-play classes that it is still S tier, because we are a support, and Wizard, it is a good support. It is the best support in the game. You can bring a lots and lots of CC around the idols. It has a big learning curve, so if it's your first time playing Wizard, it is gonna be rough for you, but as you keep progressing and you keep playing with it, you keep getting better, I'm gonna tell you that if you're a free-to-play player, do yourself a service and try to learn this class, because you're just gonna be the king of the battlegrounds when it comes to support your whales and to do a lot of impact. Because the way you want to rank this, it is how much impact it actually brings into the battlegrounds. Now we have here Tempest. So Tempest, in my opinion, I also was playing with it. I think that it is probably A tier. You have a lot of dashes. The survivability, it is okay because you can dash around, but the damage, it is just okay. The good thing about like Tempest is just like the mobility that you have. You can still like dive into the backline and you can still get like a lot of kills, or like trying to counter the wizards, because even if you are free to play, you probably can still have the enough damage output to go and kill the backline. But if not, if you're trying to go and you know, play around the idol, you're probably gonna have a rough time. But still, Tempest, I think it is playable, especially if you're playing with the water bananas. I think that if you're good, and again, it's the same as wizards, Tempest, it is also a class that it is not like that easy to play. You're gonna have like some specifics. For example, you need like the 4 out of 4 flowing strikes substats on your gear. It has a learning curve, but if you master these, most likely you're still gonna be able to climb and do pretty well. Now we have here Necromancer. Okay, Necromancer right now, it is in the curious spot because we had the Golem. The Golem, it is this new build that you become like extremely tanky, but well, that build, it doesn't really work for free-to-play players. It's a high tier legend. If you just face a 10k whale or 11k whale or whatever it is, they're just gonna one-shot you anyways. So because of that, it is not like a very powerful or very useful build to play as a free-to-play. Then we have other options, which is like trying to use the Vortex. For the Vortex, you still gonna need to use and get a lot of like potency. So you get like some fears, you get like some immobilize, you get a lot of these things. You can also go and try to get like the raid form pants with evasion, and then stack it up, all these evasion sets, to become a bit more tanky. But the good thing about Necromancer, I will say that it brings you know, like you can dive in, you have the board of time, you have savior, you have gladiator, so you can survive a bit. But in this meta, I will say that I am thinking I will probably put it like in here together with with Tempest, but probably below Tempest. And the main reason is like there's no way as a support, even if you try to go and come like with a bone wall, like the bone wall is not as, or even the pillars are not as a good support, not even close to a wizard. Personally, I think like using other builds, it is vastly better, but I think you can still do good. You're probably still gonna do fine. The impact is not that great, but you can still like live a bit. Well, Crusader, now we have a new build that I was testing it out, which is the Falling Sword. The Falling Sword, that it is pretty much a dash that then when you fall, you have like these 5 seconds of CC. So the main issue when it comes to Crusader, it is like, or you have a lot of like skill cooldown reduction to just make that build work really well, but if not, it's just like you just don't have the survivability. Okay, you just don't have the survivability. So like you become like a one-trick pony. It's like, or you have your dots, your cooldowns, and you dive in. You try to do as much damage as you can, and then you leave with the shields. But I will not recommend people to play Crusader, to be honest. Like it felt like extremely weak at a high tier legend as a free to play. And I'll say like probably it goes like with the same level right now as Barbarian. I think like it is sad to see that they are 100% trying to kill the tank class. So we don't have tanks anymore. We have one support, and then we have like DPS. So everything that they are trying to make Crusader, it is a massive DPS, but the problem is, as a high tier legend, you don't do a lot of DPS. You don't have a lot of survivability, and well, you're not that insanely useful. There are like definitely a few more like support-ish, like with the banner and the bubble, but again, I don't think the impact of a Crusader it is that big. Now we have Monk. Monk, it is the new hottest class that everyone it is enjoying and loving and these things, and probably it is true if you are a whale. But if you are not a whale, well, let me tell you that your fun is not gonna be that much. I feel like even if you spend hundreds of hours farming the evasion endure sets, you have everything. Remember, like, those are scaled by your percentage HP, so which means like shields in general, they benefit higher resonance players because they have like 9, 10, 11,000. That's why like you see like these crazy tanky monks, they are doing insane amount of damage, they have good mobility, they are also extremely tanky. So they are the full package. That's how you know whenever something it is broken. It is whenever it has mobility, it has survivability, and it has damage. So that was for example, the problem with the Barbarian. I don't think people solved the problem with Barbarian. I think they just killed the free-to-play Barbarian, but the whales are still destroying. So I feel like, in my opinion, they had to reduce the damage of the hammer to just reduce a bit the damage, keep the survivability, everything was good. And here on Crusader, they are also improving the damage, but while reducing the survivability. It just doesn't make sense. So here, going back to the Monk, I think that Monk, it is crazy powerful if you are higher resonance and if you took the time to farm all that dodge and evasion gear. But if you are a free-to-play player, man, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you probably, most of the times, you're gonna get caught by a CC, or if you try to go like near the idol, if you try still go against the barbed whale, they're just gonna clap you, they're just gonna smash you, and you're not gonna have a good time, okay? Like, Monk as a free-to-play, it will work, but again, you will need all those requirements that I said, the gear. So because of the level of investment of time to get like those evasion sets, you know, I have to put it a bit in the beat here. Now we have Blood Knight. Oh my god, Blood Knight, it's D tier, okay? This class at this stage, it is 100% unplayable. It is dead. It is the way they kill this class. By the way, if you guys remember a few months ago, Monk used to be here. Now Monk is if you're a whale, probably is most likely it is in S tier, but it kind of rank up a bit. It's going up, it's climbing, but Blood Knight, man, Blood Knight, it is absolutely dog, okay? So don't play this class. You're gonna do terrible. You're gonna have a bad time. Just don't, okay? It is literally the RIP tier list. Now we have the last class, which is Demon Hunter. I played Demon Hunter for like 3 weeks, and everyone probably will say it's that class, right? I will say something. This may be a bit controversial, but I think Demon Hunter is not as bad as people say, but it's not good also, okay? So if you're gonna play a free-to-play Demon Hunter and you try to go in the high tier legend, you're gonna have a few problems. One, it is you don't have enough damage. Even though you are a high damage class, you just don't do enough damage. Then you have like you have a lot of dashes. If you are like extremely good and fast and you master the dashes, you can still survive around, but sometimes you still gonna get one-shotted, and it's like survivability. It is a big issue for Demon Hunter. So because of like the high, like I would say, Demon Hunter is most likely the highest skilling class in the game, because it's just like it is extremely hard to play it. You can still pop off and make like some decent plays, but in general, in this meta, Monk is a counter to you. Tempest just destroys you as well. a Barbarian, if he grabs you and it can one shot, like there's like too many counters. And there's also another new counter, which is like the falling sword taunts Crusader, because like they put all their flames, they go and jump on you, and then you're pretty much dead, right? So for this, I will put like Demon Hunter as a C tier. I think like you have to be really sweaty to play this class to do decently well, but you just cannot carry, you don't bring a lot of like utility, you just don't bring a lot of things. So because of this, I will say that right now, this is in the high tier Legion, the classes that I will probably recommend. S tier, 100% Wizard, by far the best class in terms of impact. Then we have Tempest and Necromancer. I feel like these ones are still really okay to play. They are not like great. I feel like even though here it feels like it's a 1 tier below, I think that, to be honest, Wizard is like a S+ or S++. And then you have like these two right here, right? Like you have Tempest and you have Necromancer. Then we have Barbarian, Rip Barbarian. Crusader still lacks some you know, some survivability. Monk, it is in a good position, but it's just like you just don't have like the stats. And then we have Demon Hunter and Blood Knight. So this is my free-to-play tier list at this current stage, early 2025. I hope you guys liked it. If you didn't, and if you guys disagree, put it in the comments. And with this, thank you for watching, guys. Go to the next one. Peace.